Do you need a personal trainer? All right, what's up, everybody? We are back for another one of these kind of candid, off the cuff personal trainer talks, whatever you want to label them. And new environment yet again. Okay, so now today we are in my trusty office. It is freaking freezing outside. I think it's like, I don't know, something cold out today in Denver, 19 degrees. So I did not go for my walk, which sucks because I like my walks, but whatever, we're here. And first, we need to get even more caffeinated up. All right, so let's delve into it. And this is going to be kind of part one. And I'm just going to go into some of the different kind of variables and things that I would think about if we're trying to decide on if a trainer, fitness coach, or something like that is right for you. And then I want to do part two as well. Maybe even a part three. I'm still trying to kind of figure this out, but essentially I want these different parts. One, where would I go? I hear that a lot, and it's a tricky one. Actually, it's not as easy even for a trainer to help kind of recommend where I would go to find a good coach and stuff like that. But I have some good ideas for you to help kind of, funnel you or whatever in the right direction. And then kind of part two or three, or maybe I'll include these, is just what to look for. This is another thing that even as a coach and trainer, it's kind of difficult. And we all have our different kind of biases and whatnot, and it's impossible to separate those. But I do want to share, different qualities that I think makes a good coach and stuff, and other things that maybe it doesn't matter and blah, 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 while trying to separate some of my, again, different biases that I have towards, you need this type of education, blah, 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 blah. Because at the end of the day, it matters, but what really matters is showing up someone you like, et cetera, et cetera. So I won't get into that now, but let's talk about, do you need a trainer? And again, just like I said, and like I've said in all these other videos, one, take this with a grain of salt. I'm just one dude. I've been doing this for a very long time. I'm obsessed with it. I'm an overthinker. So that's where I'm just trying to kind of dump out all the information, and then you do with it whatever you want. So that's one. And then two, I can't separate my bias as a personal trainer myself. So keep that in mind as well. But I promise you, not that your promise in word means anything nowadays, unfortunately, but I do promise you, I'm going to give you the same advice that I'd give my mom, my dad, my grandma, whoever. Okay. So this isn't just about supporting my business, because I don't really care. And I even tell my clients this in a good way. I'm like, it's not your responsibility to pay my bills and things like that. Okay. If I provide enough value and you want to sign up for my coaching and stuff like that, like, awesome. But the biggest thing I want to see is, I just want to see people active and fit and healthy and stuff like that. I don't really give a shit who you work with as long as you're staying active. Obviously, of course, I want everyone or whatever. But again, the biggest thing is just making sure that, all of you out there are staying fit and healthy and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, let's get into it. So first and foremost, if you're asking this question, the answer is probably. Now, does that mean you need a one-on-one coach? Is it a group fitness? Is it things like that? These are all things I'll probably get into on this next video. But if you have been struggling with finding consistency with any type of fitness, with any type of activity, with any type of nutrition, you probably should seek someone out. So the quick answer is yes, for sure. If this is something that's not part of your routine right now, for whatever reason, and I want just kind of quick sidebar. Even if you're one of those that's like, I don't even know, either I don't know where to begin. I know this, I can't find motivation. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Here's the one that I love. It's like, well, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. By default, then you don't know what to do. Okay? So if that's your excuse of like, no, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, I can't find, you should still seek out a trainer, because a good trainer is going to help with all of that. Again, whether it's figuring out the values behind fitness, the whys behind fitness, and helping with this intrinsic, extrinsic motivation, discipline, or whatever. A good coach will help with this. So if you're not actively working out, staying active, whatever, then yes, you should seek someone out, okay? By default, I don't care what your excuse is right now, because that's somewhat irrelevant, because you're not doing it. And I do think that a good coach will help and take in all these excuses. And I'm not saying they're worthless. All excuses are valid. But here's what I just had this real raw talk with a client of mine, and I have these from time to time. Again, all excuses are valid. So this particular individual is very busy with work stuff. I mean, he flies different fucking places to meet up with clients and this and that. He's got seminar nights. He's got really, really long days and nights, and he has family time and stuff. And all these things are important. All these things are important. That's like one of the biggest things I try to tell my clients and stuff like that. I hate the people that are just like, you know, well, you're just not trying hard enough or whatever, because all these things are very, very valuable. You know, if you don't have the work that funds the coaching or whatever, then you don't have the coaching. Family, I think, trumps everything. So I'm like always, and that's why I'm like, when we have these check-ins with clients, especially ones that are having a hard time with consistency, it's like, I really try to think in and outside of the box of like, how can we fit this in? And if we can check numerous boxes. So for example, if it's step goals that they're having issues, like, can we go for a walk with family? How can we do some active time with the family so we can check numerous boxes? We can hit all these different qualities in one. Like that's your best bet. That is your best bet. So anyway, I had to have this kind of raw talk with him, this honest talk of like, dude, all your excuses are entirely valid. I get that. I get that. But your body, your blood lipids, your organs, your bones, your muscle, your health doesn't care. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, your body's not going to throw you a bone because, oh, he was working. All right, I'm not going to clog his arteries. Oh, he was working. I'm not going to throw, you know, diabetes or his A1C numbers or whatever. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. I wish it did. I wish it was like, ooh, that's a good excuse. You were doing stuff. You're, you know, donating your time to build houses or what. But your body, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to your body, okay? So we still need to fit this in. And that's where, again, I'm like, let's look at the schedule. Let's look what we can do. With this individual client, he was having hard times committing to these hour workouts. So you know what we're trying to do? 20, 30-minute workouts, man. He's like, I just need something I can jam out. So he was 4 times a week at an hour. His adherence was falling really, really bad. So we're trying these 30 minutes 4 times a week. We're gonna do that, and then we'll build on that, okay? But adherence is everything, and we'll try to figure this out. We need to make time for it. So I'm all good at playing around with time and things like that, blah, 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 okay? So anyway, if you're in that space, I'm almost lost where I'm at. If you're in that space of like, I'm just too busy or whatever, I would think long and hard about that, because again, your body doesn't care. Again, it's not going to throw you a bone because you're busy with work or this or that or that. You're still going to become increasingly more and more unhealthy. All right. So if that helps kind of snap you out of it and like, shit, I really need to prioritize this. But again, if you land in that camp, even if you know what to do, if you're not currently doing it, if you're not going to the gym right now, if you're not staying active, then I think, yes, absolutely, 1000%. Yes, yes, yes. And in the beginning, we need as much accountability as humanly possible. I was just talking to my brother about this because he went to the gym. We live in different states and stuff. And he met with the owner and he liked him and stuff. He's like, oh, I'm thinking about, what do you think about that? And I said, dude, it totally depends on you and where you're at in this kind of accountability continuum, all right? So generally, when people first start out, they need the maximum amount of accountability, which one-on-one training, you schedule it out, you pay for it. And if you don't make it there without giving a cancellation, they take your money. And this is where I'm honest with individuals. I'm honest with all my clients. I am leveraging your money to get you in here. And I'll be honest, I hate it because I hate money talk. I hate taking away sessions and money and all that stuff. I hate it. I don't want to do that. I just want to work and I want them to show up. But we are using this as leverage. And I tell people, I joke, I'm like, you can leave your shoes here, your child here, whatever. I don't care. It can be absent from money, but it needs to be something that it stings if you don't show up, that there is a negative repercussion if you don't show up, okay? So that's kind of both sides of the coin. There's a negative repercussion, but it's also something that should be a little bit more engaging, should be a little bit more fun. It's something that I feel like you should kind of somewhat look forward to. That doesn't mean every moment's going to be so fun, but if you're with a trainer that you gel with well, and again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but it's like I have had individuals that have done very, very little fitness for years, decades, sometimes their life. And within months, they go to like, this is like the highlight of my day. And it's something that makes me feel so incredibly good. And it's like, all right, we're going in the right direction. So I truly, truly believe all of you out there that are watching this, you can have that if you find a trainer or coach that you gel well with. But yes, in the beginning, if you have not found consistency, You need as much accountability as possible. You do need those negative repercussions. So, and I've learned this the hard way too, find a good coach that will hold you accountable too. I was so bad at this in the beginning because I didn't want to make people upset and take their money, blah, 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 blah. But then I realized like I am doing them a serious disservice by not doing that, because then it's willy-nilly. Oh, sorry, I missed. Oh, sorry, I missed. Oh, sorry, I missed. And it's like, okay, that's why that particular client or whatever, their adherence rate and their attendance rate was so bad, because I was not holding them accountable. So that is something I have changed within the last couple of years and stuff. And again, it is a hard one. Any coach out there, I feel your pain because it is hard, but you are doing yourself a disservice, okay? If people are canceling and rescheduling every single week, you need to have a talk with them. You need to hold them accountable a little bit more, and you need to explain the value and all this, just like I'm explaining here. It's not about taking your money, but it's about because you fucking care. So we're at 10 minutes. I don't even know where I was going with this. I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to kind of wrap it up here, but just to wrap things up and give you the too long did not read. If you're watching this video and if you're thinking about hiring a coach, if you have lacked consistency with working out, whether it's on the short term, like you haven't even started, or in the long term, meaning you do a month and then you fall off a month, I really, really would try to find a coach that fits well with your schedule and budget and things like that. And we'll kind of go over that in part 2, where we can go over how to make things cheaper, et cetera, et cetera. But I would start with the highest level of accountability. Once you start building those habits and you're showing up and attendance rates are really, really good, then you can slowly try to work off that. So this is what I tell individuals that are new, that are, sign up for me one-on-one in person. It's like, okay, so let's start generally at 3 to 4. If they can budget it, 3 to 4, okay? And then let's do this for a few months. And then I tell everyone, I try to encourage people graduating, going off on their own, but do it over time, So I have seen success, but generally less success with people that just go to 3 to 0, So I say, all right, let's do 3 together. And then once you feel comfortable, let's try one on your own, but please do it before you entirely cancel this. So maybe we set up this blueprint of we're going to do 3 months, 3 times a week. Then at month 4 to 6, we're going to do 2 and you do 1 on your own. So then you still have me for accountability. You still have me for support, questions, all this. Again, that accountability continuum. We're just inching our way. Full accountability, autonomy over here. So that is my goal of, if we're spending months, years together, whatever, I want to eventually get my clients over here, because I preach sustainability. And I tell this everyone with all my clients day one. Most people probably can't sustain seeing a trainer 3 to 4 days a week for forever, because it just gets very, very expensive. And I understand that and I acknowledge that. But make sure you're asking the right questions with the goal in mind to get autonomous over time. So again, maybe you do 3 months with a trainer 3 times a week, then you go down to 2 times a week, then you go down to 1 times a week, then you go down to online coaching, because that's generally significantly cheaper. I mean, it might be 2 sessions worth for a month or so. And then maybe you do that for months, years, maybe you do that for forever. Or you do that for another 6 months and then you say, I'm going to try this on my own, something like that. But again, I feel like I'm saying all the same stuff. But if you're watching this, if you're thinking about it, I think it would behoove you. I think you should really, really consider reaching out to a coach and shop around too. Again, test drive the cars and stuff, see who you gel well with. And then part 2, I'm going to go over where I would go if I was starting and I was like, all right, I want to seek out a coach. We'll go over kind of part 2 on where I would look, what different options you have and things like that. But let me know what you think below. I know this one was all over the place. I did not have any notes or bullet points at all. I was just like, let's just kind of go for it and see where this goes. So I'm sure I missed a lot of different things. So if there is anything that I missed or any other questions that you guys have, drop them down below, and then do all the other YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow with part 2.